You have been playing a game you cannot win. You wake up, trade your time for numbers, go to sleep, repeat. You call this earning a living. Machiavelli would have called it slavery. The reason you are tired, the reason for that quiet, creeping anxiety that you are falling behind is not that you aren't working hard enough. It is that you are a pawn on a board where the rules were written by kings to keep you moving in straight lines. Wealth is not the product of labor. If wealth came from hard work, women carrying bricks under the midday sun would be billionaires. Wealth is the product of understanding the physics of power. It is the result of playing entirely different games, games that are hidden in plain sight. Most people play finite games. They play to survive until the end of the month. The truly wealthy play infinite games. They play to own the entire board. Machiavelli, the father of dark strategy, did not write The Prince for ordinary people. He wrote it for rulers. He wrote it to teach them how to acquire power and how to hold it. Today, money is the purest form of power. It is the only sovereignty that matters. I am going to break down the 3 specific games you must master to escape the gravity of poverty. These are not tricks. These are fundamental shifts in how you perceive reality. If you refuse to play these games, you will remain a resource for those who do. The cage is open, but you have to choose to walk out.
Game 1. The game of sovereign leverage. The first lie you were told is that your time is valuable. It is not. Time is the most abundant resource for the poor and the most scarce for the truly wealthy. As long as your income is tied to your time, you are limited. You are finite. You can only work 24 hours in a day. Even a doctor earning $1,000 an hour is still a highly paid employee. You are still shearing sheep. You do not own the farm. Machiavelli knew that a prince cannot conquer a kingdom by swinging a sword himself. He needs an army. He needs leverage. In the modern world, we do not use mercenaries. We use 3 specific forms of leverage that allow you to decouple your input from your output. Leverage 1. Labor, the oldest game. You hire people. If you have 10 people working for you, you have 240 hours of productive output in a 24-hour day. But this is messy. People are complicated. They have egos. They require management. As Machiavelli warned, the one who relies on hired hands is never truly secure. This game is for those with high emotional intelligence and the high tolerance for pain. Leverage 2. Capital, the banker's game. This is when money works on money. It is clean. It works while you sleep. But you need money to play this game. It is a destination, not a starting point. Leverage 3. Permissionless leverage, the new god. This is where you should be building. This is the leverage of code and media, the army of robots Naval Ravikant describes. When you write a piece of code, record a video, or create a digital product, that asset works for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It does not complain. It does not ask for a raise. It does not sleep. You record a video once, it gets viewed 10,000 times. You do the work once, you get paid 10,000 times. This is the definition of sovereign leverage. Most of you are trying to get rich by renting out your time. You're trying to dig a lake with a spoon. You need to stop digging and build a dam. You must transition from the position of worker to owner of the means of production. Ask yourself right now, if you stopped working today, would your income stop? If the answer is yes, you are standing on unstable ground. You are one crisis away from ruin. Machiavelli advised rulers to rely on what is under their own control, not on what is under the control of others. When you have a job, your prosperity is controlled by a boss. When you have leverage, products, media, investments, your prosperity is controlled by the market. And the market is honest. The game here is to productize yourself. Take your specific knowledge, what you know and what cannot be taught in any school, and convert it into a system that operates without you. This requires an identity shift. You must stop seeing yourself as a worker filling a vacancy. You must see yourself as an architect building a system. The architect does not lay bricks. The architect designs the cathedral. The architect is paid for vision, not for burning calories. Game 2 is the optical war, the reputation matrix. If Game 1 is about the mechanics of wealth, Game 2 is about the psychology of value. Value is not objective. Value is a hallucination. A diamond is useless. Water is essential. But a diamond is worth millions and water is essentially free. Why? Because of the story we tell about it, because of scarcity, because of perception. Machiavelli famously said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Most people believe that if they simply do their work well, they will be rewarded. This is the worker's delusion. In the real world, you are not paid according to your contribution. You are paid according to how difficult you are to replace. The law of concealment. If you are always available, you are cheap. If you respond instantly to every email, you are signaling that you have nothing better to do. You are signaling that your time has low value. To raise your price, you must create scarcity. You must become a prize. Machiavelli advised that a prince should not be seen too often, lest he become ordinary. In your business, in your negotiations, you must learn the power of withdrawal. When you pull back, people lean toward you. When you go silent, people attribute intelligence to you. You must cultivate an image of quiet competence and mild danger. People should feel fortunate to work with you. They should feel that you are choosing them, not that they are hiring you. The courtier's mirror. Robert Greene, in his analysis of power, teaches us that you must never outshine the master, but you must make the master feel like a genius. Wealth is frequently a transfer of resources from those who have money to those who make them feel safe. If you are selling a service, you are not selling the service. You are selling certainty. You are selling the feeling that this problem is solved. The client does not want to know how the sausage is made. They want to know they were smart to hire you to make it. You must play the high status game. Poor people compete on price. I can do it cheaper. Wealthy people compete on status. I am the most expensive, therefore I am the best. This is the paradox. By charging more, you signal superior value and attract better clients who cause you less trouble. By charging less, you signal desperation and attract parasites who drain your soul. You must have the courage to price your existence high. The world will accept whatever judgment you make of yourself. Enter a room behaving like a servant, and you will be treated as one. Enter like a king in exile, and people will wonder when you return to your throne. This is the optical war. It is the understanding that competence is merely the baseline. Everyone is competent. The winners are those who wrap their competence in a narrative of irreplaceability. You are not a graphic designer, you are a brand strategist. You are not a coder, you are a systems architect. You are not a writer, you are a persuasion specialist. The words you use to describe yourself shape the buyer's reality. Change the frame, change the fee. Game 3. The infinite game. The discipline of survival. James P. Carse wrote about finite and infinite games. A finite game is played to win, a war, a football match, a stock trade. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. An infinite game is played to keep playing. Wealth is an infinite game. There is no winning. There is no number at which a bell rings and you are done. The moment you think you have won, you stop doing what made you wealthy, and you begin drifting toward ruin. Machiavelli studied the rise and fall of Rome. He saw that empires do not collapse from external enemies. They collapse from internal rot. They collapse because they become soft. They collapse because they forget the discipline that built them. The ruin rule. To win the money game, you must first not lose. Warren Buffett's rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. This sounds simple, it is profound. If you lose 50% of your wealth, you need a 100% gain just to return to zero. Ruin is the only thing that removes you from the infinite game. The poor try to get rich fast. They gamble, they take on binary risks, they buy lottery tickets, literal and metaphorical. The wealthy try to get rich slowly and stay wealthy forever. You must treat your wealth like a biological organism. It must survive. This means you avoid the catastrophic mistake. You do not go all in. You do not take on leverage that one bad week can destroy. The strategy is the barbell. Be extremely conservative with 90% of your assets and take calculated, aggressive risks with the remaining 10%. Most people take moderate risks with everything. This is the recipe for mediocrity. Be paranoid. Be boring. Boredom is where wealth compounds. Excitement is expensive. Dopamine is expensive. If your investment strategy is, let's gamble, if your business strategy is permanent chaos, you are not a CEO. You are an arsonist running around with a fire extinguisher. The Machiavellian player understands that time is the master variable. If you can stay in the game longer than everyone else, you win by default, because everyone else will eventually blow themselves up. They will become greedy. They will surrender to emotion. They will try to take a shortcut. When they crash, you will be standing amid the wreckage, calm, solvent, ready to acquire their assets for fractions of their value. This is predator discipline. The predator does not sprint through the jungle screaming. The predator sits, it waits, it conserves energy, it waits for the weak to make a mistake, then strikes. The operating system. Deleting the programming that is killing you. To play these three games, leverage, optical war, and the infinite game, you must first destroy the person you are right now. You have been programmed to lose. School taught you to be an employee. Your parents taught you to be careful. Your friends teach you to be comfortable. You must delete this operating system. You must accept that being liked is not currency. You cannot pay rent with likes. Machiavelli was not liked. He was sent into exile. He was tortured. And in that darkness, he saw the truth of human nature, that people are ungrateful, fickle, dishonest, cowardly, and greedy. If you build your life expecting people to be fair, you will remain poor forever. If you build your life understanding that people are driven by self-interest, fear, and greed, you can design systems that harness those drives. You do not need to be evil, you need to be awake. Kill envy. Envy is poverty thinking in its purest form. When you see someone with the car you want, the house you want, the life you want, what is your immediate reaction? Is it admiration? Or is it that subtle, gnawing resentment? He probably got lucky. He probably inherited it. He's probably a fraud. This is the loser's defense mechanism. By dismissing their success, you protect your ego. You tell yourself, I don't have that because I am moral. That is a lie. You don't have it because you are not yet capable enough. Machiavelli teaches us to study power, not to judge it. When you see a winner, do not hate them. Study them. Dissect their leverage. What game are they playing? What optics are they using? How do they hedge their risks? Treat success like a crime scene. Analyze the evidence, identify the weapon, and then pick it up. Abandon fairness. I hear this constantly. It's not fair that he earns so much doing so little. The system is rigged. Listen carefully. Fairness is a concept invented so that children feel safe. It does not exist in nature. It does not exist in markets. The gazelle does not look at the lion and cry, "This is unfair," as it is being eaten. The gazelle understands the physics. The lion is faster. The lion is stronger. The market is a jungle. It rewards value, leverage, and scarcity. It does not reward effort. You can dig a hole in the ground with your bare hands for 10 hours a day. You work harder than any tech CEO, but the CEO uses code to serve millions. The market pays him and ignores you. Stop crying about fairness. It is a waste of resources. Accept the rules of the terrain. If the terrain is uneven, buy better boots. Do not complain that the ground is not carpeted. The strategy of silence. We touched on this in the optical war, but it goes deeper. The poor broadcast, the wealthy signal. When you constantly talk about your plans, your hustle, your vision, you are bleeding pressure. You receive a dopamine hit just from telling people you will soon be rich. And because you got the reward, the dopamine, you lose the drive to actually do the work. Machiavelli advised, conceal your intentions, build in the dark, let only your results make noise. There is a terrifying power in the person who works in silence. They cannot be attacked if no one knows where they are. They cannot be sabotaged if no one knows what they are building. Become a ghost. Disappear for 6 months. Focus exclusively on acquiring specific knowledge and building leverage. When you resurface, the people who knew you will meet a stranger, because that is what you will have become.
Conclusion. The board is set. Your move. The greatest barrier you face is not poverty. Poverty is uncomfortable and discomfort is a motivator. The greatest barrier is middle-class comfort. The monthly salary, the good enough job, the car bought on credit. This is the anesthetic. It is just enough to prevent rebellion, but never enough to make you free. These are golden handcuffs. To play the prince's game, you must be willing to risk middle-class comfort for the glory of the summit. The infinite game demands courage. You must be willing to look foolish. You must be willing to endure public failure. The entrepreneur is simply the person who understands that the difference between an obstacle and an opportunity is small, and who is capable of turning both to their advantage. The middle class avoids obstacles. They want a smooth road. The sovereign seeks obstacles, because an obstacle is a filter. The harder something is, the fewer people can do it. The fewer people who can do it, the higher the value. If it were easy, everyone would be rich. Difficulty is the moat. Learn to love the moat. Ultimately, all 3 games converge at one point. You are the asset, not your house, not your stock portfolio, not your job title. Your mind, your judgment, your ability to remain composed when the world is burning. Naval Ravikant said judgment is the decisive skill. In the age of AI, in the age of infinite leverage, the ability to make the right decision is worth billions. A programmer can write code, but what code should be written? A media team can edit a video, but what should the video be about? That is judgment, and judgment comes from experience. It comes from playing. It comes from being in the game. You cannot learn judgment from a textbook. You learn it by losing money. You learn it by being betrayed. You learn it by trusting the wrong person. So do not fear the scars. Scars are proof you were in the arena. Machiavelli was a broken man. The Medici broke him. He was exiled. But he did not lie down and die. He sat at his desk, lit a candle, and wrote a manual that would outlast the Medici by 5 centuries. He converted his pain into power. He turned his exile into leverage. You must do the same. Whatever situation you are in right now, broke, exhausted, alone, confused, this is your material. This is the clay. Do not despise the clay. Shape it. You have a choice. You can close this video, return to your feed, scroll the endless dopamine stream, and forget everything you just heard. You can go back to the finite game. You can go back to trading your life for a salary. You can go back to hoping for fairness. Or you can decide right now to step off the board, to stop being a pawn, to collect yourself and start playing your own game. The crowd will resent you for it. They will try to pull you back. They will call you obsessed. They will call you cold. Let them. Sheep always fear the shepherd. You are building something they cannot yet see. You are playing on a timeline they cannot comprehend. You are planting seeds for a forest whose shade you may never sit in yourself, but which will feed your lineage for generations. This is the Machiavellian path. Not cruelty, efficiency. Seeing the world precisely as it is, stripped of all moral illusion, and navigating it with surgical precision. 3 games are open: leverage, optical war, the infinite game. The board is set. The pieces are moving. Your move. This video is educational in nature. The goal is not to harm others or manipulate them, but to better understand social dynamics, protect your boundaries, and make more conscious decisions. Use these ideas ethically and with respect for others.